Hello, Barmy Badger Army.
Hey, Badger Army.
Hello, Barmy Badger Army. How the devil are you, Nicholas?
I'm okay.
Excellent.
I'm
I'm
here.
okay too. We're here and we're alive and we're ready to chat to you for the next 15 to 10 to 15 minutes because I'm
We're
mad.
surrounded by leaves and mud.
This is very true. It's a weird time of year for that sort of thing, watchers.
We're basically floating on it. It's
very bizarre. There's a lot of weird leaves. And I tell you what, that doesn't make for good scooting. I had to stop and walk past the leaves earlier today because earlier on last week I did have a bit of a whoopsie daisy where I rode through the leaves, went really fast, and then all of a sudden came to an abrupt halt and then went fast again. And you can imagine what that turned out to be. Ouchies.
There's not a lot else you can say to that, really, is there?
No, except be careful when you're riding. What we're going to be talking about today, guys, is Christmas music and Christmas films, and something else if we get a bit more time. So, Nick, what are your favourite Christmas films that you've enjoyed over the previous times?
For me, it's all about Home Alone.
Home Alone. It's just something really festive, isn't there, about it? Macaulay Culkin on his own defeating Joe Pesci and what was the other guy's name? Do we remember?
Daniel Stern.
Right, there we go. I had no idea. That didn't remember. But yeah, and of course, with a nice full-length cameo from my man, one of my favourite comedians of all time, John Candy, had quite a surprising role in that as the musician in the back of the van, which, you know, is hilarious. John Candy was one of my favourite comedians growing up. It's a real shame that what happened to him, you know.
Yeah.
I think yo-yo dieting and plus bad heart pressure and things like that did it to him.
But yeah, it was actually shortly after Cool Runnings, which I think was his final film, came out, that he passed away.
This is true. I think there was Cool Runnings, and I think there was another Wild West film afterwards. But yeah, he was one of my favourite comedians, and you know, I think Macaulay Culkin, however he has turned out, he seems to be on a bit of a good even keel now, rehabilitated, things like that. And he's got like a YouTube show called Bunny Ears or something. Have you heard of that?
I've not, no.
Yeah, it's worth a look. It's like a podcast, and I think he's on the mend now, which is great. But yeah, Home Alone is one of my favourite films of all time, like yourself. I think there's just something magical about it, very seasonal. The jokes are really good, they're all spot on, the comic timing's hilarious, and I think the scenes in the church are quite nice as well. You know, very nice this time of year, and I think there's just something about it that's very heartwarming. What about you, Nick?
It is very heartwarming, which considering how long you spend of that film hating Kevin's family.
I know, yes.
And just how utterly awful they all are.
I know, there's something about them where they are pretty awful, aren't they?
They are pretty awful. So yeah,
especially the brother. I think he's terrible, isn't he?
Yeah, it just doesn't bear thinking about. But yeah, it's a good one. But the thing is, I don't think it was even actually released at Christmas originally.
No, maybe
it was
not.
Released in the middle of summer, if memory serves.
Well, it was like a summer kids film.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was released. Yeah, it was quite late on that it was. Yeah, it wasn't at Christmas.
Really
or maybe
weird.
It just wasn't obvious. I remember seeing the trailer and it was not immediately obvious that it was set at Christmas.
Really?
But I was 9. So.
But I mean, not being funny, also, back in the day, it's not like now where there's like instantaneous releases of films in the US and the UK. Sometimes we had to wait a couple of months before it would even release it.
There's
so maybe that was the time factor, that they got it at Christmas and we got it like early in the new year, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was. It wasn't as early in the new year as then, but yeah, that's what. But yeah, I don't think it was that. But yeah, so it's, and of course it's this time of year that everyone debates Die Hard. Christmas movie,
Die Hard.
Not Christmas movie.
Indeed. Is Die Hard a Christmas film? Well, it's just one of these things. It is definitely action-packed, it's fun, there's lots of stuff going on in it.
You maybe wouldn't watch it with your whole family, though.
No, this is true. I mean, there's a lot of people in there, there's a bit of swearing, isn't there?
Yeah.
I don't know if Badger Jr. would watch it, though he has seen bits and pieces of the first Batman film with Michael Keaton. But obviously I cut out the scary bits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things in there, like, yes, would you say that it was watchable for young kids? Not really.
Not really.
But it is more like an adult's thrilling Christmas film
It's a
in some
Christmas
way.
film for adults. I mean, the film is set on Christmas Eve, of course.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's a whole debate. I mean, my thinking is that, you know, it's not maybe a sort of traditional. It's not the sort of film that you could watch with your family curled around the TV on Christmas Day.
I don't know. Some people would definitely debate that it is an all-rounder thing that you would watch, like with Pringles and all sorts of different bits and pieces.
You know, but with young kids,
no,
possibly not.
Probably not.
And what I will say is that when you consider that there's plenty of other films which you wouldn't necessarily consider a good Christmas film, like Watership Down.
Watership Down, horrid.
Which ends up on Christmas Day, which ends up on being shown at Christmas by some TV channel somewhere.
Like we were saying, BBC are rebooting it and doing a new version.
It's getting a reboot.
I just don't understand why you'd want to watch that. I'm never going to let Badger Jr. watch Watership Down. There's something about it.
I remember Watership Down being on Christmas Day when I was ill. It was there on the day that I was ill, and I was ill that day.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Worst Christmas day ever.
I would never want to purposely go, let's watch this film, guys.
Yeah,
it's not something I would like purposely want to watch.
And
it's
if that's
horrible,
bad enough, and if that's bad enough, you know, and if people complaining about Die Hard and stuff like that, you'll never guess. One year in about 2012. E4, their primetime Christmas Day film, 9 p.m. on Christmas Day.
Die Hard, Watership Down, Batman Returns. Go on, Home Alone. Oh, go on then, tell us.
At least you could sort of understand with those three. Final Destination 3.
What? Oh yes, I remember that.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Here's a roller coaster crash.
What? I remember that. Actually, I remember this.
With a train crash, and halfway through, 2 people get fried in a sunbed.
I remember this. Yes, I remember this. I remember the fact that they did that. I was like, what is this? Like, I can understand, like, there's a reverse psychology there. Like, what could we watch that's miserable, gory, and, you know, and probably the worst thing we could put on? I know, Final Destination 3. And not being funny, like, I could understand, like, they get worse as they go along. Not only with, like, the acting and stuff, but the actual gore. Yeah. So by the time they hit the third and the fourth one, they were pretty gory, you know.
And they were absolutely ridiculous. You know, the ways people died was...
Yeah, with the sunbed. That was very bizarre.
Sunbed was
reminiscent
That wasn't even the daftest death in the film.
No. Reminiscent of I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, but they managed to get the main character out before it happened. Yeah. But yeah, I can't believe some of the stuff that they would put on. That is terrible.
Yes, and that was Christmas Day, 1 year on E4.
Brilliant.
That's a Freeview cable channel for those of you who aren't sure. But it's the channel that shows The Big Bang Theory a lot.
Yes.
That was Christmas Day once, and it was like, you kind of look at it and be like, okay, I'm never complaining about Die Hard again.
This is it.
You know?
One of my favourite obvious films would be Batman Returns, and we talked about this before we started filming.
Now, a lot of people aren't aware of this, but it feasibly could pass as a Christmas film.
Yes, definitely, because it is based during Christmas. Obviously, there's scenes with Batman and Selena Kyle, aka Catwoman, where she is going to kiss Batman under the mistletoe and all these sorts of things. And they found out one of the main sequences where they talk to each other and they find out each other's identities is actually based on like a Christmas ball, you know, like a masquerade ball.
All right.
And obviously one of the key acts that the villain does to try and implicate Batman into being a bad guy is that the pageant hostess gets thrown off the building and they try and blame Batman for it. So it's mad, isn't it? And obviously there's lots of stuff. Yeah, Oswald Cobblepot runs for mayor during Christmas time. It's really bizarre, but yeah, is it a Christmas film? I think so. It's that sort of dark, brooding, Tim Burton-esque Christmas that he loves to portray. And
if you're a
there's
Tim
definite
Burton fan,
references.
then it's perfect then.
Yeah, if you're a Tim Burton fan.
If you're a Tim Burton fan, you probably watch it all the time anyway.
Yeah,
at
I mean,
Christmas.
I only just watched A Nightmare Before Christmas about 2-3 weeks ago, and next is definitely Batman Returns and all sorts of different bits and pieces like that. I do like the imagery and the stark gothic contrast between the dark and the shadow and the bright colours of the presents. I think that's what he goes for. You know. What about you, Nick? Have you seen it for a while?
Not for a long time.
I'd definitely say give it a re-watch. It's the one with the Penguin and Catwoman and Max Schreck, the mayor, and stuff like that.
Is it the one with Michelle Pfeiffer's in?
Yes, Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah.
And I just remember her running out of a building, saying meow, and then the building explodes.
I know, it's fantastic, isn't it?
That's
very
all I saw,
iconic.
and I was just like, that's brilliant.
It's very iconic. It's one of my favourite films of all time, regardless of the time setting. So yeah, definitely brilliant.
There we go.
Very cool, yeah. So what about you, Nick? We're going to talk about some Christmas music.
Christmas music. I mean, if you work in a store, my sympathy, you've been putting up with it since
early October.
Probably. You might have gotten off with a bit of it at the end of October with Halloween. But yeah, it's been pretty much going. I mean, I remember when I worked in retail, we had like one tape that would play on a loop, and there were about 3 or 4 Christmas songs by the Jacksons. I think they put out a Christmas album once upon a time, so yeah, I'm really sick of young Michael Jackson talking about Frosty the Snowman and seeing his mum kiss Santa Claus.
Yes, there's some of these things where, you know, hearing the same song over and over again.
Yeah.
And
Kylie's version of Santa Baby.
Is that what you listen? I don't mind that, you know.
Yeah,
a bit
it's
of Kylie
not that
Minogue's
bad, but
fine.
I saw it a few times. And when I worked, and previously when I worked in August, they were like, in August one year they were playing 2 different versions of Sleigh Ride.
Really?
One by the Spice Girls and one by Madness.
I didn't even know that the Spice Girls did a cover of that.
They did.
Ugh.
It was on the B-side of 2 Become 1.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a Christmas thing, was it?
That was released, well, not specifically as a Christmas single, but it was released kind of like in late November, early December.
Okay, so it definitely was sort of billed as hopefully going to be a Christmas number 1.
we're probably all sick of hearing Fairy Tale of New York by now.
Fairy Tale of New York.
I know it's one of the more credible ones.
It is definitely one of the more credible ones. One of my favourites as well. Real sad happening to what happened to her, wasn't it? Where she died in that boat incident.
When Kirsty McCall died. Yeah, that was so sad.
That was very sad. And but you know, he seems to have upped his game a bit and sort of turned his life around a bit.
He's got proper teeth now and everything.
I know, yeah. So, but they'll be shipping
Shane
him.
McGowan.
Shane McGowan. They'll probably be shipping him out now, along with defrosting what's his face as well. You know, they seem to.
You're going to have to be more specific.
I know.
Shakin' Stevens.
Shakin' Stevens. All these guys. What? They seem to like sort of pop them out, don't they? After
Roy
a while.
Wood, the Wizard guy.
Indeed, Cliff Richard as well.
Cliff Richard, of course.
Who's the crooner as well that everyone loves as well?
Michael Bublé.
Michael Bublé. They'll be defrosting Michael Bublé now. Ready for it.
He's become like a Christmas staple. But
I
don't actually remember him having like any Christmas songs.
I know, it's bizarre.
The biggest hit he had over here was "Haven't Met You Yet," which isn't Christmassy at all.
Yeah, no, they do seem to have turned him into a bit of a Christmas star, which is great for him because he probably has like 7 or 8 months off a year, and he goes, "Hi guys, can do some Christmas songs."
It's like with Slade, you know, they have so many other songs than Merry Xmas everybody.
I know.
But yeah, that
seems to be their stable thing. It's bizarre how they get pigeonholed as Christmas artists. Like you were saying, Michael Bublé and Slade have got tons of songs that don't revolve around Christmas.
Ditto Mariah Carey.
And the Darkness as well. They're pigeonholed as Christmas songs now. But they only ever had one Christmas song, but yet that's what they're known for now.
Yep.
It's bizarre.
I Believe in a Thing Called Love is probably...
I believe in a thing called love!
Oh, blimey, I didn't know you could hit that kind of note.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Ow.
And all that sort of thing. It's brilliant. But yeah, it's bizarre. We sort of go into this sort of termly sort of thing where, you know, you sort of get to this stage where you're putting up the Christmas tree, you want the log fire on, and you have the fake log fire on from Netflix, which is always amusing, and you have the music on in the background. I think it's quite nice and homely, you know, putting up the Christmas tree as we did the other day. And would you attribute music and films with putting up the Christmas tree, Nick?
Music is good to have in the background when you're putting the tree up.
That's definitely true.
Films might be a bit distracting.
This is true. I mean, this is what we were listening to. We were listening to music and stuff while we were putting up the things like that, which was lovely, and doing all the tinsel and stuff. We had music and the Netflix fire cracking and stuff like that, which was hilarious. But it's true, it adds so much atmosphere to it. It's hilarious.
There you go.
It's brilliant.
But yeah, you know, it's December. We kind of have to feel Christmassy. It's at the time of filming, it's actually like 3
weeks away from Christmas, so we're on the countdown
exactly
now.
3 weeks, so we're all going to start thinking about
now.
Christmas shopping and stuff. And
yes, well, I've done most of mine. Only a few bits left for the boss to get.
That's
and
good. No one in my family has any idea what they want for Christmas, so we pride ourselves on not being materialistic.
This is it.
The rest of the year is great, but Christmas, it means we're impossible to get Christmas gifts for.
So, Nick, what's the newest feature film you'll be starring in, just to finish off the show?
Well, we were talking about films. This film isn't Christmassy, in all honesty.
It's about blood and gore and action and violence, is it?
Yeah, there's a bits of all of that. It's called The Viking War.
Viking War!
We're going to put a link to it in the description. And I am in it, but you're going to have to pause to see me.
Oh dear.
Yeah, because it's quite quick, and also I've got loads of makeup on, so
it's fantastic.
You might not recognise me immediately.
Dear darling.
So yeah, so that's going to. So yeah, if you pause it between 28 seconds and 35 seconds.
I love how you're exact on this one. It's brilliant how exact you are.
It's good. Well, I have to post it. You know, I have to post that because you know that way people will actually know that I'm in it.
And you are credited as a character as well, which is great.
My character's name is Sigard.
Sigard. So tell us a little bit before we head off about the experiences on the set. Because we've been dying to talk about this, but we haven't really been able to.
It was filmed. We did 3 days filming in Surrey on an estate that was once owned by the late Oliver Reed.
Oh, okay.
And we filmed 1 day in Ipswich.
That's pretty cool.
At a, it was at kind of like a place where they have like old style huts and things like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like an old manor house type thing.
Yeah, they do lots of like live action role play there.
Oh, LARPing.
Yes, there's LARPing that goes on there, and yeah, we hijacked it for not literally, but for.
I bet you just like, you know, guys, don't worry about it. It's not a real film. No one's gonna die, and then you were like got all these LARPers and just like sort of beating them up.
Not during those particular scenes. Yeah, so
LARPers.
So yes,
LARPers are people too.
True. That's so yes. It's called The Viking War. It's got distribution it's been coming out in the US in February.
Oh, yeah.
And then it'll be released in the UK in April.
Ooh. And will that be available at the cinema or will it be on DVD?
We're not sure yet.
Okay, you're not sure yet. But yeah, do check it out.
It'll be out on DVD with maybe a few screenings in cinemas if we can get them.
Very cool. Okay, well, thanks very much for that, Nick. I hope you guys enjoyed today's chat. And please do tell us your favourite Christmas films and your favourite Christmas music. And by the way, Die Hard's got its own Christmas book, so I think it's a Christmas film. Bye for now, Barmy Badger Army. Big shout out to my awesome co-host for today, Mr. Nick. Once again, thank you very much, buddy, for our weekly chats. And hopefully soon more than that. We do seem to squeeze in 1 or 2 as it is. And apologies for the lack of streams this week, guys. Things have been a bit up and down, but things will find an even keel, don't worry. And we're going to hopefully do some special daytime streams during the Christmas holidays, which is going to be fantastic. So thank you very much for joining me, and a big shout out to everyone that sponsors the show, National Nonsense News, Roboten, and of course the Awesome Time Money, and a big shout out to Scorpius and the Awesome Simp John, and everyone that moderates and helps the show. Thank you very much from us. It's fantastic. So look after yourselves, keep safe, keep well, and much love from myself, the Badger, and him.
Much love to you all.
See you later on, guys.